The beginning and end of every sequence, it is either impact through a wall, impact on a table, impact through a mirror. Everything is happening in real time and it's being filmed. And it's a do-si-do between me and my stunties. There's something wrong with me. Just a void.
It's an interesting thing to try and explain, the void. It's this thing that Bob doesn't have control over, and once he loses control over it, it becomes this all-powerful kind of wormhole-esque thing. And when you get taken into it, it's essentially a interwebbed series of endless rooms of places that you've experienced the most shame or grief in your life.
We wanted the spaces to feel realistic. So when you first see it, you're not quite sure if it's a flashback or you're trapped in the memory, and then later on you discover it's the void spaces, and it's a deliberate design to make it feel boxed in, as if they're trapped. Each character is trapped in their trauma memory.
And it's pretty cool how Jake's designed it. It's almost like this eternal sunshine of the spotless mind, kind of Schenectady, New York fever dream.
Just the encouragement to try to do something different, like Spike Jonze and Jonathan Glazer. There's an old Jonathan Glazer commercial, I think, for Levi's, where they're bursting through walls and there's explosions as they do that, and then obviously the sequence from being John Malkovich of going into Malkovich's subconscious.
It's like your mind is somewhere else. Mm-hmm.
We are in one of the void rooms, and this is the forest set. It's one of the first void rooms that Yelena goes into. It is a flashback to when she was a child, luring one of her friends into the forest to be then killed. And so it's sort of a nightmare of hers that she has to relive over and over and over. And ultimately she has to bust through a wall to get out of here, which then takes her into another void nightmare room of her own.
Starting from a practical base, like if you really see something happen and you can really make something happen, there's a kind of unpredictability and a magic to that.
The transition between all these rooms is quite tricky because gravity shifts and is different in each room, and there's different rules in each room. So she starts this way, slams through a wall, and then gravity shifts, so now she's falling. And so as far as sizing and timing and how we needed to do that, we really had to prep, you know, with camera and stunt team and effects and everybody to be on par with that.
Every team has to work together to do that, like, you know, Dan and Charles and the whole special effects team, and Grace and Heidi and her whole team, you know, just the stunts and the practical execution, getting it all on camera takes so much coordination.
They got to run from one side of a set to the other, and we had a fake wall prepped, and the moment I made impact, the whole thing broke and dust powdered everywhere.
And it's all different in every single room. So when she comes out of the training room, she dives through a mirror, and that mirror sends her, she's going this way, and once she dives through the mirror, she ends up coming up through the bathroom floor. So it's all very tricky and technical, but very, very cool.
So because this connects directly to Yelena's bathroom void space, which she had to climb up into because we're doing all of the practical transitions, and then we knew that we needed this to connect to the attic, we actually had to add height to the attic, also for some of the lighting elements from underneath, for what they're looking at, so that all of this could practically connect. This is actually like tied more into sees Bob in the mirror again, so that becomes a motif. We built that bathroom set here, and also the training room set, so when she sees Bob in the mirror, that's all done practically, and he's actually in the reflection. He kind of dims the lights in the bathroom and allows her, and in one shot we sort of pan and dolly and push her into this space.
It was really important that we didn't rely on CG for the sequence. We wanted it to feel real, and we wanted to use simple camera tricks. And even though they're simple, they are incredibly technical, in that you have to match these frames up perfectly to make it feel like we're blending this sequence together seamlessly. Something that we're doing on this movie that we've really never done before is we have an editorial department almost set up on set with us. So as we are filming, these shots are getting cut into an edit. That was really important for a sequence like this, where it's very important that we have these shots seamlessly blend together. So we were able to go to the monitor, make sure they matched, to make sure we can move on to the next thing.
They are human beings more so than they are superheroes. And so that way they're much more relatable, and it lends itself to being shot in a very practical way. The sets built as much as possible, everything in camera as much as possible. The stories being told in a way that they're every man, they're every woman. We can all relate to them in every way possible.
And even if it doesn't make the emptiness go away, I promise you it will feel lighter.
How do you know?
as it already has for me. I'm here. You're not alone.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. Joblo remains an independent company, and we appreciate all of your support.